me all day long, but I've been through the fire and come out alive, and there's no more fear in my eyes. Oh, now I'm rising, and you can't bring me down. You can't stop me now. Can't stop me now. My feet have come too far for you to tie 'em to the ground. You can't stop me now. Can't stop me now. Set my sights on where I'm going at. They turn it back around. You can't stop me.
Well, good evening and welcome to the Psychic Coffee Shop. And hanging with me tonight is Sandy Starr, one of my old dear psychic friends. How are you, darling?
Very well, thank you. How you doing, Aeson?
Oh, you know me, stirring up trouble and evil across the worlds.
And here I am fighting it all the time.
No, sir,
Versus
don't
evil.
create it. Look at him and say, get a damn divorce. Sell that man. Get a new one. For those new to Miss Sandy Starr, she is originally from Australia. She used to do a lot of TV and radio and has also been in print. She's been with Keen for more than 20 years. She's honed her skills through the number of readings she's done. She does clairvoyancy, clairsentient, and clairaudient with some tarot and remote viewing mixed in. But you also have a second life.
Which is
before you came to America.
Why, yes, the Australian life. The
Australian life and life on Excelsior.
Yes.
Yeah, how was that in the old days? Because I tell them all the time about what it was like in the old days for me.
What, being on a psychic line?
No, before it was a psychic line, when it was, you dial in and you wait for the operator to connect you, and you listen to the most god-awfulest hold music known to man.
Well, in those days when it all first started up, was attached. Well, in Australia,
Mm-hmm.
it was attached to your phone bill, so people would be calling. And they wouldn't buy a block of time. They would get charged. Like international rates, because in those days it were international rates.
Yeah. On
their phone bill, and like they get their phone bill, and all this kind of hysteria would break loose. Like my phone bill's $1,000, and at that time, that's almost 30 years ago.
I know.
People were hysterical.
Oh yeah.
But it didn't stop them. It didn't stop them from calling, and you would hear the preamble of the whole music and the preamble, and waiting for the person to come online, and
has it almost been almost it has. It's been a little bit more than 30 years, darling.
It has been. Well, I've been doing it all my whole life.
Me too, but at the same time I'm sitting here thinking, we done the grand commercial in 1990. I had the feds were here in 92,
right?
And now we're getting ready to go into 23. So somebody getting old around here.
It started in Australia in 1994.
Really?
Because Australia's always been a little bit behind the US.
Well, to a point, but on the other side, once they got started, and you missed the Miss Cleo era.
Yes. And I've always been very curious about Miss Cleo. I've completely missed it.
Oh, honey, it was the shambles of stupidity. We think networks do stupid shit now.
Oh.
Okay, they hired a spokesman. That was the job it was to do commercials. That's it.
Oh.
But they assigned her an extension. Someone on call center forgot that she doesn't take calls, so they just put them on hold for her. She's never signing in.
Wow. Plus, if she would have got a call, what's she going to do with it?
Exactly.
She doesn't know what she's doing.
She doesn't know what she's doing. She doesn't have any training. She doesn't have any counseling skills. She doesn't have anything else. It was a failed thing.
So that's what happened.
Yeah.
I was always curious, like, what was this Miss Cleo scandal all about?
Well,
it made it bad for us.
Oh, it made it very bad for us for about 15, 20 years. I mean, it made it bad for us like nobody. Well, one, they shut down all the U.S. operations. We got a giant book of FCC regulations, like don't read for anyone under 18, which I believe in Australia you can read for 16.
No, that was Australia too. We couldn't read for under 18.
Okay.
We had to have a phone. You had to have a phone bill.
Yeah.
You had to be able to pay your phone bills. You had to be over 18.
Right.
Yeah, so the whole thing was phone. There was no... When I came to the US, which is like almost 22 years ago now. I've been with Steve for 22 years.
Yeah.
When I came to the US, everything was changed over. Well, actually, I started with Keen in Australia. And I had my computer then, and the internet just kind of was maybe not even... It was still very young. It was still in its infancy. And so that was all online, and that in itself was a novel thing to me. It was online. And I would do Keen and my regular calls from where I worked.
You're right.
By phone, like the regular, everything was by phone, but they were definitely a pure phone company.
Yeah.
So it was different.
So, during that time, I had what I called the U desk because it looked like it was a U.
Right.
At computers, literally, every network had to have its own individual computer.
Precisely. Yeah.
Yeah. Its own phone line.
Exactly.
Yeah. You could not have the same company calling the same number or even storing the same files, because I used to have to keep track of my call time. Did you?
Yes. I had to write everything down. Everything got written down. And and if you wanted to start your own psychic line, you had to buy a phone number.
And you can do that now.
You can still do it, yeah. But it was like everything had to have its own number. You couldn't. There was no different companies all signing up to one number of that. So yeah.
Right. But it was interesting, and looking at what we call the young psychics, and they're not young. I mean, to get on a network, you got to at least be in the business like a good 3 to 8 years, and then higher for the higher quality networks. What do you think they're missing out on
today?
The younger psychics.
They're not. It's like they're not really. And I don't want to make anything negative about anyone, but it's like they're not experienced enough. I think you need some form of counseling experience or some sort of knowledge, like astrology, but knowing it, so you can forecast the alignment, so you can have some form of counseling to look that helps you look very much more deeply into what people are asking. What I've noticed with younger people today calling in and young people giving readings, it's like, will I wear a pink dress tomorrow? And the young one will go, oh, yes, you will. Someone asked me that question, I would say, well, that's entirely up to you. You can wear whatever you want tomorrow.
Right.
And I can't choose your lifestyle for you. But I've noticed that younger people today expect their lifestyle to be chosen for them. And the younger reader will actually attempt to do that, which I don't know if that makes any sense.
It's a little different. It's a little different than the way we were trained. The other thing is I think there needs to be training.
Oh, absolutely, it has to be training, big training.
Yeah.
Big training has to go on.
And that's what I miss from the old networks, because I used to do those. Is everyone that came through got trained. They held trainings every so often, and you had to go in and you got trained in crisis calls. You got trained in, a tool. You got trained in how to do your paperwork, which now would be nice to be how to do your system. How does this system work? Of course, our business has changed. We're no longer able to hide in the bedroom or the attic or the basement. We have to be content creators now too.
Exactly. Well, that's when I started with Keen. I had to learn how to do HTML. I had to build a website, and I had what did I know about website building? I went to the library. I had to go to the library and borrow books and actually built my own website. And I was like so proud of myself that I learned coding. I taught coding, and I had to do that in order to build a website. And as far as being trained on crisis, that's imperative. I'm lucky because I studied psychology.
Right.
But they can provide short courses on crisis counseling, etc. And basically, people also need to be taught to listen more carefully, because listening is a very important skill to have. And everyone thinks they can listen, but they can't listen. They think they're listening, but they're not.
Right.
They'll be thinking of what they're going to say next, or they'll focus on one word that someone said and not move beyond
conversation. Yeah.
Right.
But I think that's because, a lot of things are people hear, but often they don't listen.
Exactly.
Exactly. And I think that's a good model of, did I ever think that we would be doing chat, like text readings?
Right.
Never.
Exactly.
Who would want that?
Exactly.
Your email address, I'll give you a 30-page email. Or before that, I'll type you up a 30-page reading and mail it to you. You'll get it in 2 weeks. Ask 10 questions that are good for you.
Exactly. And say with astrology readings, you had to wait like a month for an astrology chart to be sent to you. And it's like, not at all legible unless you were an astrology, master, astrology.
Right. But, nowadays, we're doing video, we're doing text, we're doing phone calls, we're doing Zooms. Well, I am. I say in 10 years, I'll probably be doing hologram readings.
Probably.
I look forward to that when I can just sit there and be the hologram in your room telling you
I would love that.
why the loser on the couch needs to get out.
Exactly. Yeah, I would love that. Yeah. I mean, look, I want to actually evolve to doing video readings. I think they're very important because I can see you. And body language is another really important skill to have when you're doing a reading, because you can actually see someone, you see how they're responding, you see their mood changing, you see them, and that actually helps a lot with the reading.
Well, it does, because it gives you, and people say aura, but it gives you more of a feedback of, okay, I need to go deeper here.
Yep.
I need to not go deeper here. Like, they don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about their money. They're interested in their relationship. So it saves the customer time. It's not cold reading, because that's something totally different, guys. Cold reading is when you just go, oh, you're married, you're 26, and you're a Leo.
Yeah, that's not what readings are all about.
That's not what readings all are about.
No, they're not. It's not what they're all about. And aura, being up aura is very important, because I feel like I can see people's auras. I know it sounds, but it's not like it comes to me in color. I don't see like a color thing, but you feel it. I feel it more than see it. And that's important.
So why did you leave Australia, honey? I mean, because I'm wanting the reverse trip here. Like, we should have just switched places. It would have been easier.
Oh, no. Australia at that time, well, my daughter actually, it's my daughter's fault. No, I was just kidding.
We'll blame the MT.
There weren't as many opportunities in Australia. My daughter became a teacher, and at that time, there weren't that many teaching opportunities, and she met someone who was American, and they decided together to come to America. And I also wanted to come to America because the economy in Australia was almost lights out in Australia at the time. The economy was really, really bad at that time. It was basically closing down.
Right.
And I think the Australian dollar was like 50 cents to the American dollar at that time. It was very bad.
Right.
So I figured, well, there's more opportunities for both of us in the United States. Plus, all my relatives live here. Because my parents
had already left.
Yeah. My parents were Holocaust survivors. And when they were refugees, they had 3 choices: America, Australia, or Israel. And my dad chose Australia, but all my other relatives chose the United States. And so I have relatives all over the United States: Mississippi, Florida, California, Connecticut, you name it. I've got relatives there. And so we used to travel to the United States fairly consistently when I was younger. But, we came to New York City, and we settled in, and then here we are. And I gave up. In Australia, I was the mascot, the mascot for the company that I worked for, like commercials, and I did all the newspaper interviews and
Right. The
for
press campaign we get put on once in a while.
Yeah. And I was there. Sorry?
I call it the press campaign. It feels like they drag us out, throw us in a suit, and okay, you're going to shoot this pilot. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. You're going to do that. Okay, now you can go back to work. And it's like,
yeah, I did all the commercials.
Yeah,
all the crazy commercials. They put me in wigs.
uh-huh.
They dropped the whole safe behind me. I was in a commercial where I had to say, in a moment there's going to be a disaster, and I would have to really run out of the way because they literally dropped a real safe where I was sitting. Yeah, and they had to put things like black wigs on me and shawls to make me look all witchy and psychic. And
well, I don't know. I think I miss that era. I really do miss that era because I remember my pages. I had candles and candle gifts and music playing. I really miss that era of the internet.
The incense.
Yeah. I really miss that era of the internet because I'm sorry, the new pages are all like Facebook uniformed the hell out of us.
I know.
And you can just see that trend, and it's like, we don't need to look the same. We don't need to look the same. We aren't cookies.
No.
Or cupcakes.
No. It was so like when I got here and I just stayed with Keen, I was like, I missed that. I kind of missed it a bit because I liked the attention. It was good fun getting the attention and
it's fun to do. It's fun to do press work, but it's tiring for me.
It got very tiring. Yeah, it got very tiring, and also they didn't actually pay for that. They gave me a gift. They sent me this beautiful crystal ball.
Oh, how cute. Didn't I pay the light bill?
Yeah. And so I left that in Australia because it was too heavy to bring to the United States because of the cost of...
Right.
Yeah. So I left that in Australia and bought myself a new crystal ball.
Yeah, I've got one over there in the show bag. I love using it. You just have to be careful with it because if it catches the sun, it will burn your house down. So do not put it in a room with windows.
Oh, no, it's in a safe spot. It's in a safe spot.
But
there's no sunlight coming in this room, believe me.
So what has been your funnest moment as a psychic?
Well, that commercial that I did. No, there's not one particular moment that I've always thoroughly enjoyed being psychic since I was a teenager. And even before all this started, I don't even know how I discovered I was psychic. It just sort of happened to me. I was in my teens when I was giving readings to people. I don't even know why I was doing it. It was just weird. And got a Ouija board out and went the whole nine. And
they don't get along with me. Spirit boards do. Ouija boards don't. And the difference is one is an original, one is a Parker Brothers creation.
Right.
The original, the full spirit circle, that'll do me wonders. It'll move and do everything I want it to do and, respond. A Ouija board, they don't talk to me or they run.
Well, mine always worked. Out the window. We always freaked ourselves out because we were kids. And it always worked. And we're like, ooh. It worked every time. And I dabbled in Wiccan, in like doing spellcraft. I still have that with me, but I don't use it as much as I used to. But that is something that I was very strong with, and I love doing it. It was always very positive, no black anything. And although I had to light a black candle at times, but not because of negativity, it's very difficult. It's very complex. I think you may know about it, but it's very complex.
Well, yeah, witchcraft is always complex.
Yeah. So I am kind of a witch, I guess. I'm a witchy witch. I am.
You're spiritual.
Yeah, and so crystals but the most fun time, it's every time someone tells me that they've been able to grow and get something out of talking to me. Every time someone comes, has a realization and they start moving forward in a positive way with their life. That was always the most fun part for me. Cool. Always.
Yeah.
Always.
I think my fun is when I think I'm not being psychic and I still end up being psychic. Of course, I also think looking back now, I think I'm the psychic crash test dummy. Here's why. It's because, like, looking at the networks that are big now, I started them. I was on part of the beta team. I was part of the beta course. I was one of the first, and it's like, what the hell have I been doing for 30 years? Oh, yeah, breaking down barriers and walls.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And, I don't know. Terminology has changed so much.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. There's a new thing that I find what is my life path? That is a new one.
That's not a new one. That's a Sylvia Brown. It's new to you? Okay. Yeah. That's a Sylvia Brown adage. It's about what their life
Sylvia Brown, she's still around.
No, right. She passed away a few years ago, unfortunately.
Yes.
God, she made us good content.
Yes.
But no, the one that threw me the most and took me a moment to try to realize and it was the first time I'd ever heard someone say it. POI.
What?
Tell me about my POI. Person of interest.
Oh.
And for a moment there, the person on the other side, the client, I feel was military or police. And I'm like, which one are we looking at here? In what case? And they go, no. My relationship POI. And I'm like, okay, this will be fun. So that's changed a lot. Language skills have changed a lot.
They have. See, when someone asks me, what is my life's path? I will always answer is what you make it. That is always my answer, because you create your life's path with the choices you make. It's not something that's made for you.
It's more like, what's my life theme? I'm an explorer, or am I here to be a nurturer or a humanitarian?
Well, 9 times out of 10, they discover that for themselves.
Yeah, and they should discover most of that for themselves.
And I can tell them whether the path they take is going to be successful or not. Right. Or sometimes if their life path is it can be whatever they want it to be. Mm-hmm. But if it's going to hurt them in some way, I will warn them about that as well. Listen, it's your choice, but understand if you do A, B, and C, the results will not be favorable to you moving forward.
Right.
Yeah. So I will tell them the outcome of the decisions that they're planning to make, but I won't make the decision for them.
What is the weirdest question you've ever been asked?
This is going back a long time, and this really happened. This really, really happened. Will they find out I murdered someone in the park?
Okay.
I got a client.
I would give that out of my Aeson 5 cups, I would give that 3. I had a client ask me if the squirrels and raccoons were plotting against them. It took me probably an hour to get to the basis of what they were asking. And the people were the squirrels and the raccoons. They had an infestation in their house, and it had gotten to almost to where it was the owner versus the squirrels and raccoons. And they thought that the animals had decided to off them. And it's like, no, they don't give a damn. They just want warmth. Yeah.
No, that park question was in Australia, and this person actually confessed that they had.
Now, does Australia have the same rules of Britain?
I don't know what the rules in Britain are, but Australia, I had to report that call.
In Australia, in Britain, they record the call.
Do they?
Yeah.
They don't record our calls.
Yeah.
They didn't record our calls.
Yeah. In Britain, they record the call and the time of the call. And then in China, like the Chinese customers, you can't discuss like government or anything that's legit.
Not in China, no. But even here, I don't want to discuss government anyway, because
I know it gets so aggravating.
Yeah. I mean, I really don't know anything about politics to begin with, and I don't really. It's too much of it. I can't. You know, I can't.
I don't know. I like your politics. I like watching Australian politics. Like the Prime Minister having to actually debate Parliament. Pop me a bowl of popcorn. Let's sit down here and watch this go on.
The Australian politics, I don't know what's going on there now, but when I left, it wasn't good. You know, they had two parties, the Labor Party and the Liberal Party, and they were both the same party. They were both exactly the same. There was no argument.
Right.
They were the same. They were the same thing.
Oh, Parliament's gotten entertaining, especially during the Panini. I'll have to give it to your leader there. They were amazing. They handled it well. They went into action, and he actually done something for the people.
Right.
You know, other than the hotel incident, they done a lot down there. Like, they shut the border. They said, you know what? We're paying you. Get your butt home. Don't leave your home. If you need something, we'll order it for you.
Right.
You know, they really done good comparative to the responses here.
Right. Exactly. I have some friends. My niece lives in Australia still, and my brother, one of my brothers still lives there. And they're happy.
Mm-hmm. So do you do American holidays or Australian holidays?
American.
You do American holidays, so you're doing a chicken turkey? Yeah. I just wondered about that. The other one is TikTok is going to give you a question. So I saw on TikTok that there's a sandwich in Australia that is fried chicken skin with mayonnaise. Is that a true Australian sandwich, or is this TikTok BS?
TikTok BS.
Okay.
Totally. According to my niece, there aren't as many around, but the mum and pop little fish and chip stores.
Yeah.
They were a lot of them when I was in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a very high Greek population in Australia, very big.
Mm-hmm.
And they would have these fish and chip stores. Right. And they made the best fish and chips on the planet.
Okay.
The sweet fish, they're delicious.
Right.
Most of the cities in Australia are coastal.
Right. So you get wonderful seafood.
Yeah, so you get your seafood, you get your fish and chips, and you go and sit by the beach and you eat it and you watch the waves.
Mm-hmm.
And I must admit, I miss that.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the traditional good old Aussie pie and sauce, ketchup.
Okay.
And so it's a meat pie. No one knows what's in it.
Okay. It's whatever the meat's available.
Right. And you pour ketchup on it.
Uh-huh.
And it tastes, for me, I used to love them.
Uh-huh.
And then they had these dumplings there in the age. Well, you wouldn't get them at Chinese takeout. You would get them at the fish and chip store.
Mm-hmm.
And they were called dim sims, not dim sum, but dim sim. S-I-M. And they're a dumpling. And they had a lot of cabbage and pork or whatnot in them, but they were delicious.
Uh-huh.
And you would buy them, like in those days, when I was a kid, I'd buy them, like they were 5 cents each or something.
Right.
And you'd buy 3 of them, and they were so, so delicious. And these are little things that I miss, you know.
Okay. So who done it better?
Who did what better?
Australia versus America. Big Mac.
Oh, I'm going to have to say Australia. Sorry, wrong. America does it better. Big Mac in the US is better than Australian. Big Mac.
Coca-Cola.
America.
Yeah. Laundry soap.
Sorry?
Laundry soap.
Laundry soap?
Yes.
About the same.
Yeah. Surprising, though, for me, that's surprising because I know Australia has a lot of environmental protection going on.
No.
Allow some of the crap that comes in our American soaps.
The only reason Australia has some environmental protection in place is because we have no ozone layer.
Right.
We have a hole in the ozone layer above the country.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had to institute certain environmental things because otherwise it'd be a big problem. But no, they're not that.
Not that
about it. They're not extreme about it at all.
Yeah.
So the laundry detergent is about the same as here.
Mm-hmm. So do you think that they'll arrest Amber Heard?
What is the Amber Heard story?
Okay, so Amber Heard took her and her the Amber Heard to Australia story is Amber Heard took her 4 Yorkies from America to Australia and lied to the government about the quarantine situation, about their shot records, all that total lies.
About America?
Told the Australian government.
Yeah.
Total lies about the dogs.
Oh.
And got caught. Do you think that they'll arrest her?
For sure. Australians are very big on arresting people.
Okay.
Well, you can't get away with anything in Australia. Forget it. They will, for sure. You can't, but what was the issue? What did she lie about?
The flea medicine that they were on, the rabies shot that they had.
Oh, back
there. Certain things that the animals are required in Australia to have versus here to protect them.
They're going to be quarantined in Australia for a certain period of time.
Right.
And here they don't need to be quarantined at all.
Yeah.
Because I brought my pets with me when I came here.
Uh-huh.
My dog and my 2 cats.
Uh-huh.
And all they needed was rabies shots. And they were citizens of the United States.
Yeah. They have faster citizenship than you did.
It took me 10 years. But they just had to have their rabies shot. But in Australia, they have to be quarantined and you have to have documented proof. Now, that documentation is false.
Mm-hmm.
Then you falsified government documents.
Right.
Therefore, you got to go to jail.
Yeah.
In the story. Australia is very funny. Like, they don't mess around with.
Mm-hmm.
If you do something illegal, like you're an illegal immigrant in Australia, forget it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't mess with that. You go straight to detention camp where you will sit for many years until they decide what to do with you, and that's either process you to come in or make you go back to your own country.
Right.
They're very, very big law and order over in Australia. Very big.
They look to be very organized law and order too. There isn't a lot of craziness going on there.
Oh, there's a lot of craziness that goes on.
Oh, really? What the other part that I found interesting is you can actually go to jail for not voting there.
Yes. Well, not go to jail. It is compulsory to vote. You don't go to jail if you don't vote, but you will get fined $100 a day until you vote.
Wow.
Yeah. So a lot of people would go in and if they didn't want to vote for either party, they would go in and do what's called a donkey vote. So as long as you've walked into the electoral environment,
right,
and you register and you have to show ID. It's that you have to know exactly who you are,
right?
And no funny, but you have to be. You can't. There's no messing around.
Right.
And once you go into that voting booth where you're privately, no one can see you, then you can just do a big X.
Kind of like, I don't like any of these.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah. That's it. Yeah, fold it in half, post it. What you need to do with it. As long as you've gone in and done that, you won't get fined.
Right.
But you have to go in and vote. It's compulsory. And also, as the census is compulsory.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And even though they're not allowed to read what you've written in your census booklet, because there were about 1,000 questions.
Yeah.
They will look at it. They'll make sure you filled it in. They'll flip through it and make sure, and you will get fined if you don't fill it in.
Interesting. But that way they get accurate census to distribute things that they need, like governmental funding and all that. Like no one in the backyard of the Serengeti.
No, because everyone would lie.
Right.
People would not put down accurate answers. So they weren't getting accurate information because people were getting angry and frustrated with the fact that they felt intruded on.
Right.
So they would not give accurate information.
But, like here in West Virginia, we lost a representative because the people here did not fill out a census report.
But the thing is, we've got to rely on people to give accurate information.
Right.
And the bummer with even with Australia, though it's compulsory, people will still not put accurate information because they don't think it's anybody's business.
Right. Which is different.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, I would answer the things that I thought were important, like how many people in my family unit.
Mm-hmm. And I noticed you said family unit, not family.
Right. Family unit. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
You know, because that could be anybody living there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That could be like if you've got people staying with you, you've got to mention those people, and that would, to me, family is more than just blood. But whoever's in your house, and actually, whoever was visiting you while you were doing your census had to be mentioned as well.
Really? How interesting.
And also, one question that always stood out, that always confused me, is what your house is made of. Is it brick or is it wood? Like, is it something else, some other material?
Yeah.
How many pets you have? How many pets you have? What kind of pets you have? And it would become a little bit
monotonous.
You know, like, are you worried about people? The question should only be about people.
Right.
And but there are a lot of questions about how you live and why you live like that. And so it was very hard to be private in Australia.
Right.
But it's also very easy to get famous in Australia.
Yeah. Well, of course, you know. Apparently, it's very easy to get famous in Australia. Just go standing out in the backyard and go to your house for no reason.
Exactly. Like I got very well known in Australia just through being a psychic, doing little commercials. I also did some because I did classical ballet for 24 years. I automatically went into movies somehow. I don't know how I did that. Right, some agent approached me, and suddenly I was in like just as an extra, or as sometimes I could get features. I'm doing some sort of dance moving or something's going on.
Right.
And people began to recognize me. I'd be sitting somewhere and they walk up to me, I know where you're from.
Yeah, it's like, possibly. Do you like me or you don't like me? Oh, you don't like me? Nope, you don't know me.
Yeah, they really liked me. I don't know. But it was just funny because it was that easy. It was like you had to do anything. And here, there's a lot of competition. You have to really have talent. I mean, I had no talent. As a psychic, I do, but not as just an everyday. Maybe as in dance, I have a bit of talent, but that's about it.
Yeah.
It was because the population is so small. It was easier to become popular and well known.
Right. Well, no, but it just seems like it would be a lot easier to. I don't know. I've had debates about Australia about how easy it is to just go find you a piece of land, build you a little tiny house, and just be left alone.
It's not like that easy at all.
Oh, really?
The economy is very, very difficult to deal with over there, to navigate. And that owning your own house dream, that was in the early days of Australia. That was, say, in the 50s and 60s. That's when Australia had the golden time where you could buy your own home and build a life and build a business. But the politics and the taxes and it all got a bit too people lost a lot in Australia. And so it's become extraordinarily difficult.
Right. Well, you know, because the whole sustain movement is coming out of Australia.
The what?
It's called the sustainability movement.
Oh, yeah.
Reuse, recycle. That came out of Australia. And then you have the tiny house movement. It was like every time there's a house on tiny house, of course, they're in Australia where it's always warm.
It's not always warm. It gets cold in Australia.
Really?
It snows in Australia. But the tiny house, I don't know. I didn't know that came from Australia.
Yeah.
There's a lot of space in Australia. Australia's empty. And so housing is not really an issue in Australia, but owning your own house can be an issue. But Australia's got a lot of spare land, so I'm not sure why anyone would choose to live. Because once you're isolated, you're isolated. It's, you're really isolated. So I don't know why anyone would want to be that isolated. I mean, you get that in the United States as well, where people live isolated. I don't like to be too isolated because I like to know that an ambulance will be here in 5 minutes if I need one, or I need cigarettes. I just go down the street and get them, or I need to know that like I have life around me when necessary, when needed. But
well, I got to take a break, darling.
Sorry,
I got to take a break. We'll be right back.
All righty. Okay.
Maybe I'll take a break if I can find it. There it is.
Hi, I'm Dottie the Psychic, and I'm sure you're wondering why I'm not wearing any makeup. Well, one reason is to irritate my social media manager, Aeson Knight. Hi, Aeson. The other reason is because I like to get to the naked truth about what it means to be a neurodivergent LGBT person with psychic abilities. I've got vlogs, blogs, and podcasts and videos all related to trying to live my best life and helping witches and bitches do the same thing. So, you can check all that out and get a reading from Dottie the Psychic at DOTTIEthepsychic.com. Safe travel and much profit to you.
Do you have a cute pet? We know you do. Each week, Tracy Van chooses from submitted photos a featured reader for her Facebook page and provides a tarot reading. Your adorable pet cat, dog, rabbit, goat, chicken, snake, or more could be her next featured reader. Visit TracyVan.com, TracyVann.com, and click Featured Reader to submit. We look forward to seeing your pet next.
Hey everybody, Lady Gwendolyn here, and I am here to tell you how to get in contact with me and a little bit about what I do. I am the High Priestess that works with shadow work to help you grow and heal, and I work with access bars, Reiki, I do power forms. I'm recently getting into crystal healing, sound therapy as well. So you can go to Lady Gwendolyn Healing, that is LadyGwendolynHealing.com. Book your appointment with me. I do in person, I do over the phone, I do over Zoom. We can do that as well. My main goal is to help you grow and heal, because I've been there, I'm still going through it, and let my strength help guide you. See you soon.
Hey everybody, Natalie here from The Pendulum's Path. If you are in need of guidance, direction, spiritual connection, healing, or more, you have come to the right place. I have worked as a psychic and a medium for over 3 years, connecting people from all over the world with their loved ones, giving them insight and guidance into their current situations, their past healings, their blockages, and what they need to know in order for them to have a better future. It would be my absolute honor if you would come to my website at www.thependulumspath.com. Visit my shop. I have a whole bunch of crystals, oils, balms, mystery boxes, and more. And visit my services. I offer 15-minute, 30-minute, and 60-minute sessions. I also have email readings available if you're not comfortable with the one-on-one session with me, or if you just want to try me out. I encourage you to come visit me at the Pendulum's Path, and let's get you back on the right track today.
All right, welcome back. So you were telling us that Australia is empty and we should move there.
No.
Why not? It sounds like paradise with fish and chips.
Well, the fish and chips part is like paradise. That part's and delicious, and I miss that. But according to my niece, those little mom and pop stores that had they're not there anymore, and it's become more commercialized now. So that's sad, because once something becomes commercialized, they start making it, like a production line. And that original flavor of that home cooked flavor is gone.
Right. And that, happens a lot of times. I mean, growing up, I remember little family grocery stores where you knew the people that owned it, and you can go in and tell them the cut of meat you want, the style of meat you want. You can't get that now.
That's all gone. And that was so good to have, like going to an actual butcher store, and the butcher you would ask the butcher for some exotic thing, and they would know exactly what you're talking about because they were trained as butchers and they know exactly what you mean, and and they would give it to you, or they would cut meat a certain way for you or whatever. Or you go to a fruit store and they knew their fruit, and they, it was all organic then. There was no such thing as organic fruit. It was all kind of organic then. It was cheap. And they knew their stuff. And nowadays you go into a supermarket and you got people running around the food section and you ask them a question, or even in the meat section, and they have no idea what you're talking about. They don't care what you're talking about. They're just putting the meat out.
They got shipped to them last night.
Yeah.
So what's next for Miss Sandy Star?
Well, I wanted to expand a little, and sort of like I want to stay with Keen. I love Keen, even though I have my moments of my frustrations. I love Keen. I'm going to probably stay with him until I die.
We don't die. Don't you know psychics never die? We just
evolve. We evolve to a higher power.
Exactly. We just go to full gods instead of demigods.
And but I do want to have. Wouldn't mind doing some external, video work. I want to see my clients, and that's really important for me. I want to see them. I want to see their aura or feel their aura, and I want to feel their blockages so I can help them unblock. Because the universe works in really strange ways. People say I feel blocked and I can't do this, and I didn't get that job, or I want. The universe is very, very complex and works in very mysterious and strange ways. And what I've found, I probably should write all this down and do a book. What I've found is that the universe you may feel blocked, but what's really going on is you're being purposely pushed into another direction. You need to take a different road, and that's what I like to guide people on, that new road that you're going to go on, because that new road, people always are so afraid because the unknown is fearful, so they're afraid of going on this new road, this new journey. And ironically, the new journey sometimes is more fruitful than the one they think they lost. And they're going to learn, gain more. The universe works in very, very mysterious ways. But the universe, one thing about the universe is it's always working for you. We are children of the universe. So the universe is always with us. We are children of the universe, and we're all meant to be here. We're all meant to be here. For whatever reason we're here, we're meant to be here. And so the universe is always working with us and always protecting us, always. So it just may be pushing us into a different path because it's protecting us. That makes sense?
Joe thinks he's being funny.
Hey, Joseph.
I thought psychics didn't die. They just got disconnected.
That's when you dial 1. No, dial 3. Sorry, dial 3.
Dial 3, yeah. I don't know how many times. And it's strange when you get onto other networks and it's like, press star to be connected. And it's like, why do I need pressing star? I need to press 1.
Yeah.
I don't know how many phones I had to get rid of because I couldn't call long distance anymore in the old days.
Yes.
Because, we wore out the 1 button.
The 1 button. That 1 button. And the hashtag, the hash button, the hash.
Yeah, the pound button.
The pound button. Oh, God, that pound button. Yeah, No, but yeah, so now I forgot what you asked me. The old age, geriatric time.
It is not geriatrics time. It is not even near geriatrics time, honey. We are as young as we decide to evolve to. I'm staying 30.
I've got to 25 and stopped about there.
I got a question for you. What was the weirdest thing that ever flew out of your mouth?
Oh, God. Every day weird shit flies out of my mouth. I have no filter at all.
Of course not. You're psychic. You're not. That's the turn-off. That's the Geno turn-off. You either get a filter or you become psychic. Your choice.
I don't know. There's been so many of them. Like the weirdest, I have no clue. I mean, I had these revelations sometimes, or let me tell you. Can I tell you a funny story about
Sure.
how I became to do, or how I don't know how I discovered I was psychic, but I went when I was at college or university, we call it in Australia. It's called all universities, no college in Australia. A friend of mine and I decided to go visit a psychic.
Right.
And we went to this psychic, and he did numerology. And my name Sandy came from that numerology. My original name was Margaret, which I hate that name. Right. And
what? Margaret? You are not a Margaret.
So not. And
I don't know. How's your martinis? I'm
not a martini girl. I'm a margarita girl.
Okay. So no, you're not a Margaret. Margarets make very good dry martinis, and normally they're dirty.
Right. Well, I'm not at all a dirty martini guy. I am a margarita girl. And so he said, you think too much with your heart. You need to start thinking more with your head. And he gave me the letters and numbers that did that. That spelled Sandy. So I became Sandy. And I really became Sandy. And every document, every official document I have is Sandy. And it stuck with me because it suited me way better. Long blonde hair.
Much so.
Yeah, Sandy, Australia, beach,
Well, so, and you've done well. Do you like New York?
I love New York City. Well, I love New York. I loved New York City. New York City was, when we first got here, it was just fantastic. But lately, it's kind of lost its charm a little bit. And so things have changed here. So it's now become necessary to move.
Right.
And it's sad because New York City was unbelievable at one point. It was beautiful. But things have changed, and unfortunately. And so Florida's become the flavor of the month. We've decided to move there. Weather and beach. That's why. The weather and the beach.
Well, see, you can get the same thing in California. You don't have to put up with a dumb governor.
Right. Well, California is expensive.
In parts.
Right. So where we want to live is expensive.
Well, again, in
Hollywood. So I want to live in Hollywood.
In California, you can just stick a sign out in the front yard.
Yeah, but I want to live in Beverly Hills or in
Honey, you don't want Beverly Hills. You want Orange County, honey. Because literally, when I was
wherever it is, it's too expensive. So
no, because when I went out to LA, I was shocked because I'm in the back of the limo, looking out, being really amazed. And then after I took a taxi around, after I got from the hotel, and there you have these signs, like every 2 blocks, a psychic lives, and there's this sign in the front yard. Call this number, book your readings, walk-ins welcome, just flashing there in the front yard. And I'm like, I need to move here. Like, see which corner is open and just move there.
Yeah. It's my whole family's involved in the move, not just me. So they want to go to Florida. They've got certain work. Where they transfer to, etc. So that's all over there. So we're thinking like St. Petersburg, around that area.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
It is. St. Petersburg is beautiful. Georgia's even more prettier. Just literally 20 miles up the border.
Exactly. And they've got this place called John's Pass over there. And they have these amazing milkshakes. They're delicious. And St. Petersburg is really nice.
Yeah.
And so that's where we're thinking of, around that area.
Okay. Because, if you go too far down, you go to Orlando, honey, you need to stop here in West Virginia first so I can teach you how to shoot a gun. Because you'll need to be able to do that to go to the grocery store.
We're not going to go to Orlando.
Yeah.
No, we're going to go to St. Petersburg, around that area. Definitely.
Very cool.
And just be around there. And so it's my daughter that's going to do. I can work from anywhere in the world. So can you. But she's the one that has to have the job and the transfer. And live with her and my grandson and my cat.
Right.
And I had to have a cat because I'm a witch and I have to have my cat.
Yeah.
It sounds crazy, but I have to.
No.
And normally I have a black cat. I love black cats, but unfortunately my black cat died.
Uh-huh.
And my daughter always wanted a Siamese, and Siamese cats are also very spiritual.
Mm-hmm. And talkative. Much more talkative than bamboo cats.
Well, they're also cats are very powerful, certain cats, especially black cats, but Siamese are also very powerful.
Right.
It sounds crazy, but it's true. And so we had the cat. And I also had a dog. My dog was a German Shepherd. But she died of old age, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You.
No, honey. I've been up since 6 a.m. It has been one of those days, and it's just like, oh, coffee need to kick in. You know, get Aeson's IV of caffeine going on. I swear, probably by the first year, I'm going to have to put in an espresso IV. That's all I have to say on the matter. Joe will probably disagree with me, but I'm still getting it.
I want an IV of whiskey and Valium.
No, most of our clients need the whiskey and Valium so we can calm them down after we tell them to go burn his shit. And sorry, your relationship, it can't be done in 90 seconds or less.
Exactly. Oh, no. To do a proper relationship, you need at least an hour. You know, people, their relationships get so convoluted and so complex, and everyone wants to be right. No one wants to take responsibility for what the mistakes they're making in their relationship.
Right. And everybody makes a mistake.
And double standards. You know, I can be tired, but you can't be tired.
Well, or, you know, I have the right to look through your phone, but you don't have the right to look through my phone and my phone.
Exactly.
Are you wearing his underwear too? I'm going to go, no, I would never do that. Then why are you in his phone?
Exactly. Yeah. You know, so and that is a very, I get very, some of my clients get very upset with me.
Right.
When I bring that to their attention, you know, because relationships are hard, and you've got to, and you've got to, and they're not something you can just sort of relax into and just coast along and have your own way all the time. It is a two-way street.
Right.
And there are going to be times where you guys are going to clash because that's part of being alive. You can't agree on everything, you know.
Well, this is what I say. If you're fighting, you have a healthy relationship. If you aren't fighting, you do not have a healthy relationship. You have a doormat.
Exactly.
Occurring.
If someone's too compliant, something's wrong.
Yes.
Something's very wrong. And you go, and not only with them, but you got to look at yourself. How am I treating this person? If I got them so scared that they're just going to do everything I tell them to do, that's no good either.
No.
You know, you it's got to be two strong people together, being brave enough and trusting enough to express their opinion, to express how they feel, without the fear of being shot down or having some heavy accusations being made.
Right.
Although I'm not in a relationship because I can't be in a relationship because I always know when I'm being cheated on.
True to fact, you know, and you can always apparently locate them on the planet, even after you break up with them, you can locate them on the planet. It's like you are right freaking there.
I had a boyfriend once that he went pale because I told him a conversation he had with a girl. And he goes, oh my God, you told me that conversation almost word for word. And I said, yeah, I did. Yeah, because I know what. So I'm not good in relationships at all. I have to, you know.
Well, it's okay. Mr. Joseph there, for 3 years, thought I could read every word he thought.
Yeah, he was right.
No, he wasn't. I do not read minds. I wish I could read minds because then I would know exactly what he wanted for dinner.
No.
Ask him. It would save me 20 minutes of time. Well, Miss Sandy, we're coming on the top of the hour. Why don't you tell our listeners where they can find you?
Well, you can find me on Keen, and I never know my extension number off by heart, so I'm going to tell it to you now.
Okay.
So it's on Keen under Sandy Star because I'm a star. And you can find me on extension 01068. So 01068.
Yep. And you know how she's been on Keen? How you know she's been on Keen forever? Her extension is less than 7 digits.
There you go. It's actually 5 digits.
Yep, that tells them that you're an older one. Thank you for coming and having coffee with me, honey. I'll talk at you again later.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much. You take care, Aeson.
You too, darling. All right, guys, we'll be right back with Joe with our favorite segment. We'll be finding out if he's the asshole this week.
Welcome back, goblins! My name is Jason, and I am the host of the Esoteric Book Club, a podcast that examines titles on the magical, paranormal, the mysterious, and the strange. I release 2 episodes a month in which I review books on esoteric topics, recap news of the weird, and conduct interviews with authors, practitioners, and experiencers. The Esoteric Book Club can be found on every major podcast service or can be streamed directly from esotericbookclub.org.
Hi, I'm Tracy Van. I provide a blended reading consisting of mediumship, psychic, and tarot cards. A reading from me can cover any guidance you need from relationships with your partner or your family, spiritual, financial, any questions you may need clarity on. If you would like to book an appointment with me, check out my website, tracyvann.com. That's TRACYVANN.com. I have bookings from 15 to 60 minutes you may choose from. That helps if you just have a quick question, need an answer, or if you're looking for a reading in more depth, I'm here to provide the guidance and clarity for you. Let's just figure it out. Bye.
Hi, Techie Joe here. I work with Aeson Knight and some of the best psychics in West Virginia to create amazing live streams and podcasts for the Psychic Coffee Shop Network. Together, we brew up great content discussing news, events, hot topics, and more, all from a psychic perspective. On the Psychic Coffee Shop, we interview amazing authors in the metaphysical realm. Coffee and Tea combines Aeson with Tracy, Dottie, Natalie, or Lady Gwendolyn for the good and the bad of being a psychic. Shameless Self-Promotion with Dottie the Psychic talks to leading and emerging YouTubers and business owners in our community. Mountain Bears brings you the latest in LGBT news and politics. The Psychic That Plans answers the question of, well, how a psychic plans. Plus, we're live on air. We take your comments and your questions, including psychic advice questions. Check out our amazing programming, book an appointment with top psychics, and find out all the wonderful things we have to offer at PCSBnetwork.com today.
Hi, I'm Aeson Knight. I provide tarot readings covering everything from love and relationships to your life questions and your most spiritual answers. And also, I provide a lot of guidance in finances and divorces and all those relationship problems. So, if you'd like to get a reading from me privately, not on air, you can feel free to do so by visiting aesonknight.com and booking your appointment. I also provide on-demand services, so if your life is a little chaotic, you can go ahead and click that call now button there on my site, right for a quick answer question. All right, guys, back to the show. Enjoy. All right. Hello, Techie. How are you?
Oh, doing pretty good. Just realizing that I forgot to grab an Am I the Asshole? So I'm doing
I have one for you.
Oh, okay. Well, I figured because you usually do, and then all I got was a relationship in the...
Well, I was waiting to see if you had one. I didn't automatically want to assume.
Yeah, it's been one of those weeks. Y'all, we are like nap 30 over here. That's all I got to say.
Well, 6 a.m. comes early.
Like, I want to pose like a sort of poll question. It's not really, but has everyone else's day been like broken straight down the middle between either you are the person who is just like the mess today,
Mm-hmm.
Like you were better yesterday, you will be better tomorrow, but today you are a hot mess. Or you're the one that happened to, as in you encountered it. And it was just like there.
All right, so we're going to bring up a comment, and you can explain this, and then we'll find out if you're an asshole.
Okay. So I wasn't 100% convinced, but I wasn't taking chances. Don't think of Christmas presents. Don't think of Christmas presents. Yes, that's where I was at. I was like, I wasn't 100% convinced you could read my mind. But it's like, I wasn't thinking about Christmas presents around you.
True.
Like, no.
Especially when you just can go to your Amazon wish list.
See, that takes all the fun out of it.
No, it doesn't. It makes life easier for you.
No, it doesn't. Like, I don't like getting people Christmas presents they can't tell other people about, because my other half is a perv and put stuff on that wish list that, no, I can't be like, oh, what are you getting, Aeson, for Christmas? Well, let me tell you. No.
Really, dear?
Oh, come on. Your wish list is a little out there. Hey, Brenda.
My wish list is not out there.
I know, but some of the stuff that's more normal would be like, that's it? That's all you got him? Like, you think you're still going to be in a relationship after that? Well, there were some other things. Just saying.
All right, let me get my Amazon authorization code.
Oh, he has decided to share the wish list.
Yes.
Oh, heaven help us. This is the night that our stream gets taken down again. Wasn't my fault. I want those to be my last words of record before we go offline. It wasn't my fault.
All right. This is taking a moment.
All right, let me just do Am I the Asshole?
All right.
Am I the asshole for telling my kid's teacher to stop fishing for... Oh, is that the right one?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I actually was going to actually get that one. Okay, so for fishing for information that's none of her business. I'm raising an 8-year-old boy who is technically my nephew, though we are not biologically related. It's a complicated story. He's been with me since he was 5 and calls me Uncle Mike. His teacher, Miss L, has been complaining about his behavior. I asked for his examples and then asked her if other boys in her class displayed the same behavior, because it sounds like typical 3rd grade boy behavior. Not paying attention, talking too much. We really weren't making any progress until she asked me about Aiden's home life. I thought she was going to ask about his sleeping habits. She said, well, meant about his parents. I asked her if this whole thing was an excuse to dig for personal information, and if it was, then she's a sorry excuse for a teacher and a human being. She was taken aback by my comment and said she didn't know if there was something she should know about. I told her if she has something to say, then say it. Do not waste my time by asking to meet me under false pretenses just so you can fish out why I'm raising my nephew. It's none of her business. She said she'd try again when I was not so emotional, and I said try again when you're not so nosy. Today, she apologized for everything and said there was no excuse for knowing things that she didn't need to know. She said she wanted to start over. I think she expected me to apologize, and I didn't. I told her I don't hold grudges, and apology accepted. Mm-hmm. My brother and his partner adopted Aiden at birth. Both of them are away for a very long time. I wasn't going to let Aiden go into foster care, so I took him in. He's doing quite well. So, all right. So OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. My kid's teacher set up a fake meeting to fish information about my kid's home life. I called her out and she apologized, but I wouldn't apologize back.
Right.
See,
here's the thing. I think that no, you're not the asshole.
I gotta go with everyone's shitty here. I think the way the teacher went about it was totally screwed up and not the way they should have gone about it. I think a more direct tact of like, hi, what is this kid's deal? Like, I'm not trying to be nosy exactly, but I don't understand. And, if she thought that the kid had a reason or there was like a more in-depth reason, like, something he said or...
Well, flat out ask, so, what's going on at home? The reason I'm asking is X, Y, Z. Is there something that you need help with? Don't be being a little bitch and going, oh, well, we'll just do this and, tell me about little Johnny's toothpaste. No.
Yeah. I don't know. I think she was expecting him to just like, word vomit it away.
Mm-hmm.
The minute she was like, boo.
Right.
I think that was really, really bad on her part.
Right.
The reason I'm kind of going with, Uncle Mike, being a little bit shitty here is I don't know, like, okay, so this is an 8-year-old who's been with him for 3 years. 5 is old enough to more than likely have, and only 3 years out, have memories of life before being with him.
Right.
I would think it would be reasonable for there to be some, at least blips there.
Right.
As in, like, where are your parents and what do your parents do? And, the normal questions people ask, the normal things people say that, like, he might have some issues navigating.
Right.
Especially if he's, not really talking about it with Aiden, because it doesn't sound like he's talking to anyone about it.
Right.
So I don't know if it's one of those situations, because if they're going to be away for a very long time, I'm assuming there was some, like, really screwed up thing that happened but doesn't involve the kid.
Right.
Or,
they're derailed, they've been sent away, they're doing something.
I mean, just the way it's kind of worded, I'm assuming there's a prison thing.
Well, not only that, but it could be, what's the word I'm looking for here? Like they're able to, like they may be in service or whatever.
Well, true. If they're deployed, that would also potentially have a similar... Yeah, I mean, I don't know. But it seems like there's a lot of sheltering being done around this kid.
Right.
And tiptoeing around the situation.
Right.
And then tiptoeing around the situation with the school.
Right.
I mean, I'm not necessarily all about you should go to your kids' teachers in school and just like, blah. Here's my, all my problems.
Right.
I don't think that's it, but I think there should be some presumption that, like, if you're in a non-standard situation, which, I mean, clearly this kind of is, I would expect there to be confusion and questions, and instead of being really adversarial about it, like it's none of your business, to at least, be prepared to expect that's kind of gonna be a thing people are gonna ask about.
Right. Well, or to expect that, oh yeah, someone may say something about this. Okay.
Yeah. I was afraid this was going to go into, like, the teacher thinks that, like, Aiden was abducted.
Well, again, I think the way she done it was shitty.
Yeah.
I really do. I think that she was being way too intrusive to the child's life. And furthermore, if the parent, and that's the job that they're doing, don't care what you want to call them, looks
parent,
you
guardian, whatever.
Yeah. No, you don't need to know that. Then the woman should have dropped it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's where I think her approach and assumptions with the approach, and then the fact that she just really didn't get it.
Right.
That, like, you have stepped into it right here, right now, bail.
Right.
Like, just backpedal your way out of this as quickly as possible. You're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and I mean, based on what, like, she raised, yeah, I'm with Brenda, but it doesn't sound like he was doing anything that out of character, off normal, to warrant the question, like not paying attention, talking too much. Yeah. I mean,
that's normal kid shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Someone apparently has set me up for tech security Amazon Super.
Okay.
There's a level of techiness, and then there's a level of, oh my god.
It's making him do math.
Huh? Intercode. Enter code 5. Authorize this, approve this, change this.
Things happen.
Yeah. Now let me see if I can actually get a link.
Maybe one day.
Well, I just wonder how people get, because I see it all the time on, like, TikTok and crap.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get there. So do we want to go ahead and just do the relationship advice as well?
Yes, do that, and then I will check the poll and see who's been voted an asshole.
All right. All right. My girlfriend, 25 female, is insecure about my male 30 ex's pictures on my Facebook. So to cut to the chase, my girlfriend and I started dating this month, but we've known each other since May as coworkers. We first became good friends, and then I started developing strong feelings for her. She was the most intelligent, empathetic, and beautiful person I've ever met. I will say miles better than any of my exes. I actually felt like I was chasing her for the longest time since she valued the friendship too much. I absolutely see her as a prize and already know how lucky I am. I see a future with her, unlike my most recent ex of 6 years. One caveat is that our prior friendship included discussing details about our exes, which had some TMI sexual material, more so what I shared about my exes versus her. Now that we are dating, she said one of the things that bothered her is how I still would casually discuss random sexual details about my exes and when I was pursuing her. She said that is something she found disrespectful and not something she would have done herself. Yesterday we were talking and she mentioned how it bothered her that I still had one of my ex's pictures up on one of my Facebook profile pictures. She said she won't tell me what to do, but would like to tell me how she feels about it because she wants to feel safe, secure in the connection. She saw it as disrespectful, but not something she thought I intentionally did to hurt her. Her reasoning is that when her and her ex broke up, she immediately archived all pictures of him on her Instagram so that she can respect her next partner because the past is the past. She said she expects her next partner to have the same value as her and that she would never bring up past TMI sexual details about her ex to someone she was trying to pursue. Basically, she is still upset about this and can't unhear anything. I did get triggered because of my toxic, abusive ex and flipped out at her. I told her that the pictures were from a decade ago and that how I was supposed to remember to take them down. I ended up doing it, and she said I didn't have to, but that she was looking for reassurance that I still loved her and was open to compromising. I'm stuck between thinking she's being unreasonable to feeling bad about this. I feel unappreciated because I pursued my girlfriend so hard and have done miles for her than I ever did for my exes. Ooh, red flag. She's the first girlfriend that I even see marrying and having kids with down the line. I never wanted to marry or have kids with my ex. Any advice or new point of view? I don't want to mess things up with her. I apologize, but she's still hurt by how I yelled at her because she never demanded that I do anything.
Yeah, okay. Well, this is my advice. You're an idiot. Get rid of her quickly.
Is this... I almost feel like, this almost deserves to be over. Am I the asshole? And it's like, no, everyone should hear.
No, you need to get rid of anyone controlling like that. Sorry, you do. If you cannot, you are not a brand new car.
No.
You are not a brand new Mercedes. You have a past, you have a history, you have things that you have learned from that past and that history, hopefully. So exactly, being afraid to share that with your partner is a big problem.
Yeah. I think you almost have to respect the fact that people have exes and remember the phrase, exes are exes for a reason.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, shit happened. It didn't go according to plan. If it had gone according to plan, you wouldn't be here.
Right.
So, you can still take the good from a relationship, including the pictures.
Right.
Without necessarily, that being a threat to your future.
Well, not only that, a threat to you, because that's what it basically assumes, is she is ensuing that this man will cheat on her or whatever, or still has a connection with the ex, which is bullshit.
Well, yeah, and that it's disrespectful.
Yeah.
To keep, mementos of a past relationship. Well, I mean, I think it's disrespectful if you constantly compare your partner to your exes.
Oh, that naturally happens. But, the level of disrespect, there's a whole different level. Which, by the way, we will go ahead and copy link. There we go. Link copy. For those wanting to see Aeson's terrible wish list.
He sat there. He was not having trouble with his passwords. He was just sitting there cleaning stuff up.
Really? Do you want me to also share the screenshot of fucking Amazon?
No, I don't. I'm trying to stay on air.
No, I will show you the notifications from Amazon. Change your password, OPI password. Change your password, password authorization. Change your password. Please log into your phone. Yeah. Why? Because Aeson hasn't been on fucking Amazon for 6 months.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta sign in there every once in a while. It's helpful.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, change your password again. Change your password again. Change your password again. And it's like,
oh, I'm so sorry.
Is this your device? Apparently, we have a new device.
Then it's been more than 6 months since you signed in.
It's called Joe's Office.
Oh. But no, when I was talking about like comparing exes, I mean, it's one thing, like, I think we all mentally do that. It was like, well, my ex wouldn't have done that, or my ex wouldn't have gone there, or my ex wouldn't have. Yeah, that occurs, and I think that in your own. Do I now?
I have the other problem. No, well,
your ex
no.
would have done this. Your ex would have done that. Yeah, well, I mean, granted,
No,
your
or
exes were like borderline serial killers.
I dated you like 10 years ago. Can you like take that version of you off today and get the new version on?
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Like, no, well, and I have made the comment repeatedly. It was kind of interesting in the whole tea situation. Meeting my, like, I would say, I thought in the beginning, and what I actually said in the beginning was meeting my beta version, like the beta, 0.01 version, like that was like on the pathway to me. I kind of have to go back another level and be like my alpha version, my pre-release candidate who did not get selected for release. Like it didn't even make it to beta.
Yeah.
Because there's some similarities.
Like,
and some of them are uncanny. And then there's other things that's like, whoa, y'all dated for how many minutes? Like how did you make it past minute 5?
Yeah, I made it past. I think we made it to 6 months, and I'm like, nah, sorry. I wear fur coats. I don't hide behind them.
Well, there's that. Yeah, but no. So yeah, but I mean, I think there's some amount of comparison that happens,
right? But anyway,
but it's one thing
here's
to
my other
be.
thing. This picture is over a decade old. A decade. Okay, how many pictures did she have to scan through? Because we went through this recently. Because I went to look for a picture to locate the age of Vladimir.
Yeah.
It took me forever. And I'm an average, normal Facebook user.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, realistically, I think we still have pictures of your ex in one of your exes, at least, in this house. I mean, granted, because I think the invisible assistant is in one of them.
No, Dad's in one of them.
Do what now?
Dad's in one of them.
Right. And there's that one as well.
Right.
And it's like, no, like, yeah, there was someone before me. There were many someones before me.
Yeah.
There were many someones before him.
Yeah. There's probably a few engagement rings in the attic somewhere.
Oh. Okay.
Or the jewelry box, or the keepsake box. I mean, I have a habit of keeping, property that's given to me. So if it has a value, if melted down,
My precious. Yeah, it didn't sound like that at all. Nope. No. The dragon with his horde. But no, I mean, no, I don't really have any issues there.
No.
I don't think most people do. I would think it would be, and this goes back to the comparison though. Is like, it's one thing if it's like, okay, this is a thing that exists, and all right, that's, your past, your history, your experience, your thing, like, and I think it's really hard sometimes to talk about our past and our history and exclude people that were there. And I don't know, maybe this is a spicy topic. That was one of my first malfunctions, so to speak. The first time one of my friends came out as trans. Is my brain glitched, and I go, I'm sorry if this is so totally disrespectful, but how do we navigate the past and the present? Yeah, Brenda says always keep the jewelry. Yeah. Is how do we navigate the past? Because I have shared experience with someone of a different gender and name. Versus who you are now. And I don't want to be rude to this person. But my brain remembers an event very specifically, and to be fair, you weren't there.
Right.
Like, and it's really awkward to say it that way, and but it seems to communicate it the best.
It does, and it's always that person's choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even though I'm not transgendered, if Miss Raven done something, then Miss Raven done something. Not Aeson. Not, and it's always, and I think it should always be that person's choice on which it is. And as far as exes, I'm not friends with many of my exes. There's good reason for that. One, I'm not a medium. I'm mostly right now between a medium and a semi-large, not an extra large, depending on the cut.
That's your worst psychic joke ever.
Well, it wasn't a psychic joke.
It is. I'm not a medium. I'm somewhere between a medium and an extra large,
depending on the cut. But that, and you came in with exes.
Well, yeah, and photos. There's photo albums.
Honey, there's complete even photos up.
Well, yeah. But I mean, I can't talk about the first time I went to Canada without mentioning an ex.
Exactly.
I can't talk about the first time, I went to prom.
Right.
Junior prom. Without mentioning an ex.
Exactly.
Otherwise you're telling me, I have to cut whole events out of my life.
Right.
Not just photos, because I don't think, and I think this applies here, is I don't think she's going to be happy unless it's all about her.
Right. And see, I think she needs to go find the 40-year-old virgin. Sorry, that's what she's expecting here.
Well, 30-year-old virgin.
She wants older.
Well, fair. But I mean, I just don't think that's reasonable. I don't think that's legitimate. I think that's a giant red flag from her. I also didn't like the fact that he starts going into and everything I did for her.
Right.
It's
that's a big red flag for me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of those statements I'm just don't use that. Don't use that. Don't use that.
Yeah.
No one deserves that.
Right. So my viewpoint on this is run. Not kicking and screaming. Run. Quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. I think both of them need to run to someone to a counselor.
Yes.
To help them deal with some relationship issues.
We need multiples because they don't need to be in the same counseling ship.
No.
And there's no need for couples counseling because there's not a coupling here. There's a control factor going on. All right, I don't really need to buy me a gavel for this section.
I judge you.
It has been ruled by the baristas and the chatters that no, the parent is not the asshole.
Okay. Fair enough. Yep. I'll take it.
Yeah. It was so nice to have Sandy on. You guys go check her out if you're looking for a reading. I've decided to extend myself because what was going to be crazy is I was going to do the launch $9.99 sale. Then we were scheduled to do another sale for Black Friday. I decided just to keep the whole damn sale going on. So if you're interested in taking my Modern Spiritualist classes, you can do so over at Modern Spiritualist. And let me get you a direct link because apparently that's a little bit of a thing. It's to find it. It's a little difficult. Again, we're still working out the newness of the site and ironing things out.
But if you're listening on the podcast, then it is www.modernspiritual.com. If you want to get to the classes directly, it's bit.ly/3 H as in Henry, uppercase E as in Edward, X, uppercase V as in Victor, lowercase j as in Joseph, and the number 6. And that'll take you directly to his classes.
Yep. And I currently have the Tarot class, Journey of the Fools level 1 up. I currently have beginner astrology up, beginner numerology up, and beginner candle magic up. I will be teaching a live class on Zoom of Journey of the Fools 2 on next Sunday, I believe. Yeah, it's next Sunday, the 27th. And as a reminder, we do have
Sunday.
Yeah, this coming Sunday. And as a reminder, Psychic Saturday is on the 26th.
Hooray!
Yes. So it's going to be very, very busy. And of course, we're going to record it. I'm then going to add it to Modern Spiritualist. So if you missed the class, you can go over and catch it at Modern Spiritualist, but it will be for a different price because, of course, it's a network that I'm working through, so I have to do different pricing there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And, Shannon C says she's enjoying beginner's astrology.
She is.
Yes.
And she has been amazing for you guys. Like, y'all won't ever know. Like, she actually found issues with the site. So we want to give her a big shout out for being patient and for being absolutely awesome and helping to document that and help them get that fixed.
Yes. Ones that I didn't know was going on. They were like, we don't know. We never thought of this. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is a new beginning. This is a new launch pad for me, for Modern Spiritualists, and we're very happy that it's popping up there and very happy that it's a new opportunity. You don't have to travel to me or you don't have to try to catch when I get a class on. You can easily take it whenever and wherever.
Absolutely.
Yes. All righty. What else is there? See Lady Gwendolyn's on tomorrow night at 8 p.m. We're back with Coffee and Tea on Thursday. And Mountain Bears on Friday. We do have something serious to talk about on Mountain Bears that happened over the weekend. We're purposely not addressing it in this show. But well, no, it's not. It's just sad news, and there's a lot of details that we don't have yet.
Okay. Fair enough.
All righty then. Guys, you have an amazing night, and Vanna, take it away.
All right, so of course we want to thank Beverly Walker, Mika G, Kathy, Mary Winfield, Brenda Bryant, Shannon C, Shannon D, Lady Gwendolyn, Charles Shaw, Dottie the Psychic, Tracy Van, Donna White, Caitlin Bell, and the Laughing Tree Grove. If you'd like to learn more about us, the show, and how you too can become one of our Patreon sponsors and receive all the wonderful benefits our baristas receive, please visit us at pcspnetwork.com.
And as always, have a blessed evening, y'all. Good night.
Good night.
You can't tell me the deck is stacked. You can't whisper behind my back. You can't show me how the odds are up against me all day long. But I've been through the fire and come out alive, and there's no more fear in my eyes. Oh, now I'm rising, and you can't bring me down. You can't stop.